Hello everyone, how are you? Fine. So today we are going to have a new topic in quantum mechanics, that is WKB approximation. And that is the approximation is related to semi-classical case. So we are going to discuss the WKB approximation. WKB relates to the contributors who have given this particular theory. But before coming to the theory, let us see one or two interesting slides so that we can understand what is WKB approximation. Now, WKB approximation, as we have mentioned, it is related to semi-classical approximation. So here in the picture, two neighboring countries' borders are shown. One is Wagha border, another is a border at Nathula. And we see that there is a border between our country with the neighboring country. So is there a border like quantum mechanics and classical mechanics, like a border between two countries? Do we need a passport to cross over the border? The answer is interesting. The border between classical mechanics and quantum mechanics is not abrupt, like our border with a neighboring country. And that can be approximated by semi-classical approximation. The need is for the approximation that we cannot visit that border between the classical mechanics and quantum mechanics. And if we are not able to visit that border, then we have to approximate, and that approximation is done mathematically. So that deals with the WKB approximation. Now, what is WKB method? In mathematical physics, the WKB approximation or WKB method is a method for finding approximate solutions to linear differential equations with spatially, means in a space, varying coefficients, or the coefficients like x or something varying. It is typically used for semi-classical calculation in quantum mechanics, in which the wave function is recasted or reproduced as an exponential function, semi-classically expanded, and then either the amplitude or phase is taken to be changing very slowly. So either phase or amplitude is changing very slowly. Here, roughly the border is shown. One is the classically accessible portion, another is classically inaccessible portion, and there is a boundary between the two. So this is the WKB approximation in a broad sense. Now we come to our topic of WKB approximation. It is also known as a semi-classical, or in other words, quasi-classical approximation. If the de Broglie wavelength of particles are small in comparison to the characteristic dimensions. So if we consider the dimensions, de Broglie wavelengths are small, which determines the condition for a given problem. Then the properties of the system to be classical, just as the wave optics turns to geometrical optics as wavelength turns to zero. So one can compare this with the optics also. Now we come to equation number one, that is a one-dimensional Schrodinger equation. That is a very famous equation. Now we are assuming the solution, or assuming the wave function as psi equal to e to the power I divided by h bar as function x. Now this is the assumed solution or assumed wave function. Now taking the first and second order differentiation of psi with respect to x. So d psi by dx. And if we do the differentiation I divided by h bar, s prime x, s prime shows the differentiation e to the power I divided by h prime h bar and s function x. Now taking the second order differentiation, so it is d2 psi by dx square is equal to I square divided by h cut square s prime square x e to the power I divided by h cut s function x plus I divided by h cut s double prime and function of x e to the power I divided by h cut function s x. Now that is naming as equation number 3. Now modifying equation number 1, just it is a Schrodinger equation. So we are just modifying it in such a way that d2 psi by dx square is equal to minus 2m h cut square e minus v psi, and that is equal to I square divided by h cut square 2m e minus v psi. Now that is our equation number 1, and that is modified. This equation number 1 is modified. Now this equation number 1 is modified, minus sign is converted into in terms of I square. Now we call it is equation number 5. Now comparing phi with equation number 1. So d2 psi by dx square, this equation, and is s prime square x e to the power I divided by h cut sx, again this term, and that is representing d2 psi by dx square. And again, it is equated to I square divided by h cut square 2m minus e minus v psi. And we know that psi is equal to e to the power I divided by h cut sx. So again, we put that psi over here. Now, if you put this, then you can see that each term is having e to the power I divided by h cut sx. This term also having, and here we have replaced psi by that particular form. Now, if we divide by I square divided by h cut square. So if you divide, then again this form is as it is, and if you divide by that, it is I h cut s double prime and 2m and particular form. Now we do finally divide by e to the power I divided by h cut s function x. So each term is having this particular exponential part of a function. So that is divided, so it becomes a very simple form. So h prime square x minus I h cut s double prime x and equal to 2m e minus v, and we call it as equation number 6. Whenever potential is slowly varying function of x, so the first condition is that the potential should be very slowly varying function of x. Then semi-classical approximation can be used. So in comparison to de Broglie wavelength, the potential is very slowly varying function of x. X is a spatial or space-related coordinate or function. Now, in this semi-classical approximation, s function x can be expanded in terms of power series of h cut. So s function x, s0x, s1 x, h cut, s2 x, h cut square, and other terms of higher order of h cut. And this approximation is known as semi-classical approximation because in equation number 7, moving to higher order terms of h cut, the term becomes smaller and smaller because h cut is of order of 10 to the power minus 27 erg second. The higher order terms are still smaller and smaller and considered as h cut tending towards 0. If you go to higher order terms of h cut, then it is tending towards 0, which is corresponding to classical mechanics condition, because in classical mechanics h cut is 0. Ideally h cut is 0. Now if we are approaching to h cut tending towards 0, so we are approaching to classical conditions or classical mechanics condition. And that is why by using this power series, we are approximating towards the classical mechanics. Now considering the first power of h cut. So if we consider that these terms are very small, so s function x, s0x, s1x, h cut, and we call it as equation number 8. Now using equation 8 in equation number 6. Now this is equation number 6. Now we can put our equation number 8 in equation number 6. So it is s prime 0 x, s prime 1 x, h cut square minus I h cut s prime s0 double prime, here s1 double prime is equal to 2m e minus v. Now this is equation number 6. So equation number 6, here we are replacing the equation for s prime square or s double prime. Now if we simplify, on simplifying this equation, we obtain as equation number 9. just opening the bracket. Now we consider the 0th power of h cut. So if we look into equation number 9, there are 0th power of h cut where there is no h cut. Then considering only those terms. So 0th power of h cut. So s0 prime square x equal to 2m e minus vx. If you look into this, there is no h cut over here. There is no h cut over here. So we are comparing the 0th power term. Considering the first power term of h cut. So again, similarly, we can consider the first power of h cut. This is also first power of h cut. These are the second order of h cut, but we are considering the first power of h cut. So it is 2s0 prime x s1 prime x and minus I s0 double prime x equal to 0. So we are obtaining two different equations by considering 0th power of h cut and considering the first power of h cut. And we are naming those equations as equation number 10 and equation number 11. Now further modifying equation number 10. So we are focusing on equation number 10, taking the square root. So square root is s0x equal to under root 2m e minus vx. And that is s prime 0x is nothing but it is ds0x by dx. So it is represented like this. Now this is a form of a differentiation. To remove that, we integrate it. So s0x plus or minus integral 2m e minus vx dx. Now we want to see that what this integral represents. So the integral of equation 12 is known to be a classical momentum as follows. So now we focus on this. 1/2 mv square is a kinetic energy term. Then we multiply and divide by m. So it is m square v square divided by 2m. So it becomes p square divided by 2m. So p square divided by 2m is equal to E minus Vx. So E minus Vx. So kinetic energy term is equal to total energy minus potential energy. Now kinetic energy can be represented as P square divided by 2m. So in that case, we can write P square is equal to 2m E minus Vx. Again taking a square root. So it is plus or minus 2m under root 2m E minus Vx, and call it as equation number 13. Now equation number 12 can be shown as, now we know that this is nothing but P. So S0x is equal to integral P dx, and we call it as equation number 14. Now the approximation can only be made when the second term of equation number 6 can be made very small with comparison to first term. So we go back and equation number 6, the first term. Now this term can be made very small with comparison to the first term. So second term can be made very small with comparison to first term. Now in that case, the condition is s double prime x is s prime square x is very, very small than 1 and multiplied by h cut, and this is the modulus. Now h cut, now this is a double differentiation. So d by dx s prime x and divided by x prime square x. Now 1 will be cancelled out. So it will be d by dx h by divided by s prime x. So only 1 will remain and it is less than 1. Now this is the condition 15. Now this condition 15 can be further represented as s prime x is nothing but p. So d by dx h cut by p, which is very, very less than 1. And that is nothing but lambda cut. So here lambda cut is de Broglie wavelength. So this is equation number 15. It is not equation but condition number 15. This is condition number 16. This is the quasi-classical condition where the wavelength of the particle should vary only slightly over the distance of the order of lambda. The condition can be written as follows. Now, dp by dx d by dx and differentiation of this under root quantity. Then under root 2, 1 half e minus vx raised to minus 1 half dv by dx. And we know that my negative potential gradient is force. And here we don't show the negative sign. So we write the modulus F. So to avoid the sign, we put the modulus F. So again, if we write m divided by, this is in a raised to minus 1 half, so it will go into the denominator, and m divided by 2m, so multiply and divide by m, and this is dvx by dx. So this is the thing m. This quantity we have already seen in our earlier slide is p. So m divided by p modulus F. So this is the force acting on the particle in external field. So F is represented by this particular term. Now considering equation number 16. Now considering this 16. Now in that case, d by dx, h cut by p. And here h cut 1 upon p square and dp by dx. Now we put the condition using equation number 17. So here we have used the equation number 17, this 17. Now h cut is minus dp minus 1 upon p square, and we are representing dp by dx by m divided by p modulus f. So h cut minus 1 upon p cube m, it is modulus f. Now this is seen, it is seen that the quasi-classical approximation becomes not applicable or inapplicable when momentum p becomes very small. When momentum becomes very small. It is also inapplicable at turning points. So these are known as a turning points. Now if you see, if you focus on this diagram, this is the total energy and this is the potential energy curve. This is the potential energy curve. Now this is the total energy. Now here the potential energy is less than total energy. So kinetic energy is there. Now if you go into this region, which is not physically possible or classically accessible region, because here the potential energy more than total energy. Kinetic energy becomes negative. If kinetic energy becomes negative, then velocity becomes imaginary, which is not possible, because we know that kinetic energy is 1/2 mv square. Whether velocity is positive or negative, 1/2 mv square is always positive. But when kinetic energy becomes negative, then velocity becomes imaginary. And in that case, that region is classically inaccessible region. So this is classically inaccessible region. This is also classically inaccessible region. And these are known as a turning points, because any body moving in a classical manner cannot go into this region, cannot go into this region. It has to come back and follow the same route. So it can move within these two regions. It is something like a potential well. So these are known as a turning points. So it is also inapplicable at the turning points. We have already mentioned at the turning points. That is the points at which the particle will stop according to classical mechanics and begin to move in opposite direction. So it cannot go further. It has to return on the same path. Here it cannot go further. It has to move back in the same path. These points are px equal to 0. So here momentum becomes 0. Here again momentum becomes 0. And E is equal to Vx. So total energy is equal to potential energy. If P tends to 0, the de Broglie wavelength tends to infinity and cannot be too small. So in this case, if P tends to 0, then de Broglie wavelength becomes infinite, and you cannot call it as a too small, and that is not possible or that is not applicable. Now rewriting equation number 11. So equation number 11 is I S0 double prime is equal to 2S0 prime S1 prime. And just rearranging that. So S1 prime is equal to I divided by these two goes to left hand side, S0 double prime divided by S0 prime, and I divided by 2, and S0 double prime is a double differentiation. This is a single differentiation. So if you try to write a one differentiation, so that S0 prime x, S0 prime x d. So this can be written as I divided by 2 dp by p, because we have already seen that S0x is equal to p. Here S0x is equal to p. So it is dp by p. And here we can write S1 prime equal to dx I divided by 2 integral dp by p, and it is I divided by 2 log p, because we know that the differential integration of this quantity is a log p. Now, using equation number 19 in equation number 8. So this is equation number 8 and equation number 19. So S0x, we have already seen that it is integral p dx. S1x, h cut, we know that h cut as it is, and S1x we have evaluated, it is something like I divided by 2 log p. So we write I divided by log p. Now using 20 in equation number 2. So using equation 20 in 2, 2 was the form of a wave function. So e to the power I divided by h cut sx. Sx we know that. So e to the power I divided by h cut, and in the bracket integral p dx h cut I divided by 2 log p. Now we have to focus on equation number 21. So we try to simplify that equation. So this is the form in bracket p dx h cut I divided by 2 log p. Now we separate it out. So e to the power I divided by h cut integral p dx. Another form e to the power I divided by h cut I h, if you open the bracket, so IH divided by 2 log P. So I divided by H cut integral P dx, and this cancels out, so minus 1/2 log P. So e to the power I divided by H cut integral P dx, P raised to 1/2. And this 1/2, it goes to denominator. So it becomes 1 divided by under root P e to the power I divided by h cut p dx, and it should be minus 1/2, so it goes into denominator. So here is small printing mistake. Now in general, the wave function for the form when energy E is greater than Vx. So this is a classically possible region for the two turning points with linear combination of coefficients C1 and C2. So wave function can be interpreted in form of a linear combination of two coefficients, one for the left hand side, another for right hand side. And here there is a minus sign, because minus sign is merging with the denominator sign. So here there is no minus sign, here there is a minus sign. So just to be careful, it is minus sign, it is not the extended part of the denominator sign. So C1 under root P and e to the power IH P dx, and C2 same thing with minus sign IH bar P dx. Now this is equation number 23. The interpretation of 1 upon under root P, or P raised to 1/2, can be given very simply. The probability of finding a particle at a point between x and x plus dx. So in classically, x and x plus dx are small distance interval. So a small segment of distance is modulus psi square, and it is proportional to 1 upon p. So if you take a modulus, so psi star, and you take a normalization, it is proportional to 1 upon p. So the modulus psi square is proportional to 1 upon p. And this is expected outcome of a quasi-classical particle, because this is the condition exactly required for a classical nature of a particle. In classical motion, the time spent by a particle in the segment dx is a small segment of distance. is inversely proportional to the velocity or momentum of the particle. So if we consider a one particle is having a same mass, so if dx, it takes more time to cover the distance dx, then velocity is less. If it takes less time to cover the distance dx, then velocity is high. So velocity and time are inversely proportional, and therefore the momentum are inversely proportional, and that is what it is represented by 1 upon p. So time spent between the x and dx is proportional to 1 upon p. So if velocity is high, then this is small, and if velocity is less, then this value is large. And this is the condition required for the classical mechanical conditions. That is obtained by taking a modulus psi square, and that is proportional to 1 upon p. So that is again supporting the semi-classical behavior of a particle. Now we come to the another case in the classically inaccessible part, in which the E is less than Vx, and where the kinetic energy term is negative and velocity is imaginary. And the wave function becomes, the momentum becomes imaginary. So it is represented by modulus. And the exponential part becomes real. So it is I divided by h cut p dx. And here is a minus sign, but it is merged with the sign of the denominator. And here there is a plus sign. It is not shown, but it is a plus sign. This is a minus sign. And it is C2 and modulus p e to the power I divided by h cut p dx. And that is equation number 24. So 23 is for classically possible region. This is for classically not accessible region. And the two different regions are obtained from the WKB approximation. Now, we have seen the principle, and we have seen that how different two regions are considered. Now, we are going to see one example. In this example, we are trying to see that how WKB approximation can be applied. So, we use a very popular example of harmonic oscillator. And we know that harmonic oscillator is very important, and we have studied in our 11th and 12th standard also. And even in the undergraduate level, we have studied harmonic oscillator. Now we know that harmonic oscillator is a basic thing to test many theories. So here we use the harmonic oscillator for testing the WKB approximation. In the classical mechanics, the turning point of the harmonic oscillator are the points where Vx is equal to E. So potential energy becomes exactly equal to total energy. So these are the two turning points, and we are repeating the same diagram. These are the two turning points. This is one turning point level here, another turning point level there. And this is classically possible region. And here it is classically not possible region because the kinetic energy becomes negative. Here the kinetic energy becomes negative. So it is something like a potential well. So it is something like a bowl shaped potential well. For finding the turning points, we consider that Vx equal to E. So this is the Hamiltonian for the harmonic oscillator. So this is the kinetic energy term. This is the potential energy term. So Vx is equal to E. So kinetic energy term is 0. So it is E equal to 1/2 m omega square x square. And from that, x square is equal to 2E divided by m omega square. And taking a square root, so we'll get a plus and minus sign. So one is minus sign, another is a plus sign. So we get two different points, and these two different points are representing the turning points of the particular motion of a particle. Now, rewriting equation number 25. So H is equal to E, total energy, P square divided by 2m, 1/2 m omega square x square. Now we write for the P square. So P square is equal to 2m E minus 1/2 m omega square x square. Taking a square root. So P is equal to 2m E minus 1/2 m omega square x square raised to 1/2. So these are the things we have considered. Now taking an integral, because we know that in harmonic oscillator, the motion is taking place between 2 points, x1 and x2. Again, it goes back. So it is multiplied by 2. So this is the integral p dx multiplied by 2 because motion takes place periodically between the two. So one complete motion is taking place. So n plus 1 half h, and that is equation number 27. Now, if we consider it is for a cyclic motion, so it is shown with it's not a square, but it is a sign of a circle. So it is a closed integral because of the not compatibility of font in this PPT. It is actually a circle that shows the closed integral, but the font has not properly made compatible. So it's shown with a square, but it's not a square, it is a circle. So it is a closed integral p dx n plus 1 half h. Now h is a Planck's constant. So it is 28. Now we just write this equation and we replace it. So x1 to x2 2me 1 half m omega square x square raised to 1 half dx. And we multiply and divide by pi and take these two on the right hand side. So we can simplify the right hand term as n plus 1 half pi h cut. And now we call it as equation number 29. Now we consider that m omega square divided by 2e raised to 1 half is x, and that is represented as sine theta. So in our previous case, this can be represented as sine theta. And if you take a differentiation, so cos theta d theta and m omega square 2e raised to 1 half dx. And from that we can find out dx is equal to 2e m omega raised to 1 half cos theta d theta. We call it as equation number 30. Now we come to equation number 29. So this is equation number 29. The left hand side we are going to modify it. Right hand side is as it is. So in the coming slide, in the following slide, we are going to focus only on the left hand side, and we try to modify the left hand side of equation number 29. So equation number 29 modify the left hand side as it is. So we take a 2me 1 half double m because opening the bracket omega square x square is to 1 half and divided by 2me. So it is 2me and m omega square x square divided by 2me because we are taking 2me dx. Further modifying 2me, this left hand side as it is, m omega square x square raised to 1 half, and that can be represented as integral x1 to x2 2me because 2me and 1 minus because we have taken 2me common. So here it is common, and m omega square x square divided by 2e, and then taking 2me square common, and here dividing by 2me, and further it is x1 to x2 2me 1 half m omega square x square raised to 1 half, and this can be represented as minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 2me raised to 1 half as it is, 1 minus this can be represented by sine square theta. This can be represented by 2e raised to 1 half cos theta d theta. So now we are changing the variables. Earlier was x, now we are changing to sine theta. And we know that it is 2me raised to 1 half, and integral is from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 cos square theta. So 1 minus sine square theta is cos square theta, and it is 2e m omega square raised to 1 half theta. So 1 cos theta, and this becomes cos square theta and raised to 1 half. So this is minus 1 half raised to 1 half is missing because it becomes printing mistake. It is only 1 half. So it is cos theta, again cos theta. So it becomes cos square theta. So here the printing mistake is raised to 1 half. It should be raised to 1 half. Next slide. So 2me minus 1 half m omega square x square 1 half dx. This is as it is cos square theta. This is 2e m omega square, and these are the constant quantities are not coming under the integration. So we are taking out and integral is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 cos square theta d theta. So these are the constant quantities. Again, left hand side equation is same. And we are just simplifying this. This cancels out and like that. So 2e, again taking a square root. So 2e divided by omega minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 cos square theta d theta. And this can be integrated 2e. This is a standard integral, theta plus sine theta cos theta divided by 2 minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. And if you put the limits and it cancels out, so it is 2e divided by omega pi by 2. So that is the solution of this integral, and that is equation number 31. Now using 31 in our earlier equation 29. 29, this is equation number 29. So we have simplified the left hand side part. Right hand side part is that we already mentioned earlier. So 2e by omega pi by 2 n plus 1 half pi into h cut. And if we simplify, then we'll notice that E is equal to h cut omega and n plus 1 half, because 2 is cancel out and pi also cancels out. So this is equation number 32, and it is the solution of harmonic oscillator in quantum mechanics. In quantum mechanics, the harmonic oscillator solution is obtained like this. Now, how it looks like that? The quantum mechanically, the solution looks like this. So harmonic oscillator solution is looking like that. This is the classically accessible region. In classically accessible region, the oscillations are taking place. If you go into the classically inaccessible region, the oscillation stops, but the wave moves exponentially. So one is exponentially decreasing, one is exponentially increasing in the exponential form in the classically inaccessible region. So these are the exponential part, and the exponentially decrement is taking place in the wave. So this is the classically accessible region. A harmonic oscillator solution we have obtained by using the WKB approximation theory. Now we come to the contributors of the particularly WKB approximation. This method is named after physicist Gregor Wenzel and Hendrik Anthony Kramers and Leo Brillouin, who developed it in 1926. In 1923, mathematician Harold Jeffreys had developed a general method of approximating solution to linear second-order differential equations, a class that includes the Schrodinger equation. So earlier it was used by Jeffreys in 1923, but later on, the same technique, after certain modifications, these three different scientists and mathematicians, they were applied to quantum mechanical problem. So this is the picture of Gregor Wenzel, 1898 to 1978, German physicist. Hendrik Kramers, 1894 to 1952, the Dutch mathematician physicist. And Leo Brillouin is 1889 to 1969, French physicist. So they are from the different countries. The trio, three different scientists, they proposed this particular model, and it's a great contribution in quantum mechanics by these three great scientists, physicists, and mathematicians. Now we come to the importance of WKB approximation. This technique is applied to understand tunneling behavior, because we have seen the tunneling nature, bound states, and theory of alpha decay. One can use the WKB solution to investigate the scaling behavior of confining model for quark-hadron duality. In this model, light quark is bound to heavy dye quark by linear scalar potential. So these are the advanced applications of WKB approximation. And I suggest that for further reading, Quantum Mechanics by Matthews and Venkatesan. And the last one, but interesting slide, I have taken this slide, interesting slide. The pen is bearing Schrodinger. I'm using the pen right now, which is bearing the name Schrodinger. And I found it appropriate to write a thank you for all of you people by using pen bearing the Schrodinger. And this is a beautiful place in a monsoon. It is situated nearby Khirasra village on way to Kalawad. And this is a monsoon picture. There are beautiful places nearby Rajkot. If you go just 20 kilometers away from Rajkot, beautiful places are there, and they are really beautiful in monsoon. So once again, thank you all. We end meeting over here. Thank you so much.